I'm going to guide you through a spinal sequence. This will be useful at any time of the day, but especially if you wake up with a kind of stiff and achy back first thing in the morning. So we're going to come onto hands and knees. You're going to put your wrists directly underneath your shoulders, your knees directly underneath your hips. From there, you're going to round the spine up towards the ceiling, tucking the tailbone down towards the ground and allowing the head and the neck to relax down. Then we're going to reverse that direction, so the tailbone begins to tilt up towards the ceiling and you can just gaze forward. Then we can begin to coordinate the breath with the movement. So as you exhale, beginning to round, and as we inhale, beginning to arch. I'm just going through this movement a few more rounds, so getting that full movement with each wrap that you go through. And just beginning to sense into how your back feels. How does the spine move? Does it move quite easily and freely? Or are there parts that feel a little bit sticky? Good. Just doing one more like this. And then from there, just going back to a neutral spine. From there, we're going to begin to initiate the movement from the pelvis and begin to make wave-like movements through the spine. So what we're aiming to do is to begin to differentiate the movement of the spine through the different sections. So we're going to begin to tuck the tailbone under, but keep the rest of the spine nice and still. Then from there, getting a sense of moving just through the low back, then just through the mid back, then just through the upper back. And then you can allow the head and the neck to relax down. Keeping the rest of the spine arched up, you're going to just move the pelvis so the tailbone begins to tilt up towards the ceiling. And then that begins to initiate the movement into the low back, and then the mid back, then the upper back, and then the head is last. Maintaining this position and then just beginning to tuck the tailbone under, beginning to round through the low back, the mid back, the upper back, and then the neck. And then again, just carrying on with this movement. So initiating at the pelvis, allowing this movement to be like a wave. Imagine like a Mexican wave just traveling all the way up through the spine. So we have lots of bones in the spine, and we want all of those bones to be able to move individually. And what tends to happen is they tend to move in clumps. I'm just aiming to create a little bit more differentiation between the sections of the spine. Let this be your last one. And from there, coming back to neutral. From there, we're just going to encourage a little bit more rotation through the spine. So we're going to take the right hand and just begin to take the right hand and reach it out to the right. From there, you're going to take your right hand and reach it underneath the left, almost as if you're trying to grab the TV remote from underneath the sofa. And then from there, you're going to inhale, open the arm to the right. And then as we exhale, you're going to reach underneath the arm. And see if you can begin to isolate this movement more into the upper part of the spine so the pelvis can stay nice and still. And be nice and slow and with control. And doing one more like this. Placing the right hand down, and then we're going to take the left hand and then threading it underneath the right, finding that rotational movement. And allowing the movement to smooth out. One more like this. And then place the hand back down. So from there, we're just going to begin to move our hips back towards our heels, and then bring ourselves back to a tabletop. So as you exhale, you're going to sit your hips back towards your heels, and then bring yourself back to a tabletop. Exhale and inhale. Doing two more like this. Exhale and inhale. Last one. Bringing yourself back up. And then just walk your hands a little bit over to the left. And the same thing, move your hips back. We'll get a little bit more into the side waist, into the right side of the low back. Bring yourself up. Exhale. And inhale. Three more. Just moving with the breath. Exhale. And last one. And then you can just pause here, taking a couple of breaths. Getting a sense of breathing into that whole right side. And taking two more full breaths. Coming back up. Walk the hands to center, and then walk the hands over to the right. As you exhale, move your hips back towards your heels. Inhale, coming up. Exhale. And inhale. Exhale. And inhale. Two more. And last one. And then again, just pause. Again, breathing into that side, almost as if you could breathe down into the low back. And the last breath. And then coming back. Coming back into hands and knees. And there we go. So I hope you enjoyed, and you give this a try.